Hi, I'm Presley Henningsen. I'm a trial lawyer here at RSH Legal, and I try medical malpractice cases. You might be curious, what are your odds of winning a medical malpractice case in Iowa? If you talk to attorneys about these cases, you'll hear that well over 90% of these cases across the country result in the defense winning. That's about the same in Iowa as well. But you do need to know that medical malpractice cases are difficult. They're difficult for several reasons that don't have anything to do with you. First of all, they're difficult because we live in a culture that for a long time has placed doctors above others. And so when you go to a trial and you're questioning a doctor, you're starting in a deficit. Secondly, they're difficult cases because they involve complex medicine, and sometimes jurors can be confused by that if those things are not talked about correctly. One of the more sad things that we have to do here at RSH Legal is tell folks who've been harmed by doctors or healthcare providers that we can't take their case. And often we can't take their case because one additional issue with a medical malpractice case is that the legislature has passed laws that prevent you from recouping certain damages. If you were in a car accident and you got hurt and you had medical bills because you got hurt, you could recoup those medical bills. But in a medical malpractice case, the tort reformers have cut that out of medical malpractice cases. So if you get hurt and you have medical bills because of that, in a medical malpractice case, you can't recover those. Furthermore, as a general rule, if you recover well from a medical situation, you face the general bias that most jurors hold that you should count your blessings. As bad as it may have been for a year or even two, if you got back to where you were before the malpractice occurred, most jurors do not have a lot of sympathy for you. That is a harsh reality. That is why, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, we only take medical malpractice cases involving death or very serious injury that affects your day-to-day life. I applaud lawyers that have the courage to go in the courtroom and try cases. There have been many lawyers who have gone in and tried a medical malpractice case one time, never to do it again, because they are very expensive to prosecute and they are difficult to win. If you have a serious medical malpractice case, you need to make sure you're working with a medical malpractice attorney, someone who has actually tried cases. Make sure you ask any attorney you evaluate, have you actually tried medical malpractice cases to verdict? And ask them how they have done. Here at RSH Legal, we don't take a medical malpractice case unless we've carefully screened it, we've hired the right experts, and we're ready to go to trial and explain to a jury why you are entitled to reasonable compensation for what happened to you or your loved one. In Iowa, generally speaking, there's a 2-year statute of limitations on medical malpractice claims. There are a few exceptions to that, which I'm not going to address here today. You can address those with any attorney reviewing your case. But generally, we want folks to contact us no later than 18 months after the injury occurred or after the death happened. The reason for that is it takes us about 6 months or so to properly screen a case ourselves and have an expert review the same. You are required in Iowa to have what's called a certificate of merit. So once you file your lawsuit against a doctor or healthcare provider, you're going to have to very quickly then file what's called a certificate of merit, where an expert has signed an affidavit saying that they've reviewed the file and that it has merit. That is why we need sufficient time to screen those cases. Likewise, because you have to hire that expert and they're very expensive, we can only take those cases that involve very serious injury or death. Unfortunately, the insurance company and the politicians who work for them passed a cap in Iowa. And that cap says that unless you lost your life or you have a significant injury that affects your daily function, you're not going to be able to recover damages above $250,000. And because of that, we can't take cases unless you have that serious injury that affects your daily life, or unfortunately, you lost a loved one due to malpractice. Here at RSH Legal, we will continue to take serious medical malpractice cases. If you believe you or one of your loved ones have been harmed by medical error, contact RSH Legal, fighting for fairness.